All right, I think I'm live. All right, here's the agenda. Finally got trying out a smoking room. The day's in. And they got these cool two lights here. Kind of looks cool. I didn't notice that, but this looks kind of cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go over location where I'm at. Smithsonian finally got back to me, and it's kind of interesting. The guy even uses certain terms that I've never heard anyone else ever use, which is really interesting. Um, then go into burial mounds, uh, waking the land, I guess. And then a better, I say I should cut down the stream when I start talking about Doctor Doom. It's really because it's like comic books are kind of like for kids, I guess. But um, I want to talk about Doctor Doom more in depth. And then what Benjamin Balderson said about Phoenicians, I thought was really interesting, actually. And then I end it with I got the Bible here because of I'm in a hotel. But interesting has this part right here. The Gideons, placed by the Gideons. Who are the Gideons? I want to get into the Gideons and maybe do like a random Terry Davis style flip of the Bible and see where it takes us from there. All right, location. I'm in Franklin, Kentucky, and I went to. Let's get something to go. All right, I'll leave it here. What I'm about to get into, but yeah, I'm in Franklin, Kentucky. Um, Food sucks. Not a lot of land here. I mean, not a lot of for sale land here. Bowling Green was my last spot. It was pretty cool, but I got like kind of sick one night. Last night, I got like hot flashes, like really weird dreams. Um, yeah, like really intense, weird dreams about I don't know. I don't want to get into it. Maybe next stream. But that's where I'm at now. And I take back what I said about Kentucky having decent food. They don't have decent food. They had one spot that was really good. It's Bardstown, Kentucky, where they had one of the best burgers I've ever had. Bardstown, Kentucky. It's called like the bourbon capital of the world or something like that. That place was cool. That had great food. But every other spot in Kentucky I've hit, it's either been like or horrible. Don't even like. I went in Bowling Green. You would think it's like a college town, right? So you'd think they'd have a couple decent spots, but not really. They had a mediocre spot. And get this, my one of my good friends from high school. He's now in the army. He's a Green Beret in the army. Pretty high up in the Green Berets. But anyway, he his dad died recently. I didn't know about it because I don't really go on Facebook and whatnot. And my sister texted me about it, and she's like, "Yo, do you hear Mr. It's a common name, so I'm just gonna say his last. Mr. Rafferty died." And I'm like, "No, I didn't hear about that." So I like an hour later, I type into my phone, best restaurant in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Look it up. First, number one restaurant on Yelp. I think it was Yelp. Rafferty's Bar. I'm like, what are the fucking chances of that? Rafferty's Bar, first number one restaurant in Kentucky, Bowling Green. I just happened to be there. My sister just happened to text me that. I text my buddy, and it's like that's fucking wild. Um, that dude was a good dude though, Mr. Rath. Uh, but yeah, I leave from Bowling Green. I got a little sick one night. I got like hot flashes over the night. It was weird. It wasn't the chills. It was like I was just like sweating a bunch. It was odd. Like I didn't have a fever, but I got the chills. It was weird. Anyway, I'm fine today. And then next thing I want to talk about is the Smithsonian here. They finally got back to me on when after I corrected them about where the location of the dragon bones are. And I talked to the guy. I'm like, it's not actually. He thought it was in Omaha, Nebraska, because that. I mean, it's not his fault. Like that's where the article's from, Omaha, Nebraska. But I thought that too. But after like reviewing it again, it's actually Salina Canyon, Utah. And he actually gets back to me and he says there might be something to it, but he also gives me like a gravelly answer. Here you go. Dear Pasquale. Unfortunately, such tripe was often written in those days to help sell newspapers. Reporters related the tall tales of hunters, ranchers, miners, etc., that saw things that were beyond their ken in the frontier. Ken. Who uses the word ken? Also, such mythical animals as you described do not exist. A 50-foot tall horse is preposterous. I got that from the archivist, one of his California, I think it was California, old articles listed the miners finding a 50-foot tall petrified horse. And the Smithsonian dude thinks it's preposterous. I don't think it is. And they also found like a large armadillo fossil that was like 7 feet tall, which would have been like one of the so-called dinosaurs. Like that one dinosaur with the armored back and the big tail with like a ball at the end of it. You know what I'm talking about? And he goes on. A large armadillo could be a fossil animal called a glyptodont. They are common in Pleistocene sediments of the southern U.S., but died out thousands of years before Europeans came to the Americas. What I can assure you is that we do not have any cryptids, gargantuan animals that are usually much smaller, or anything of the like. There is no way we can accommodate a request the size you describe. Each one would require 15 to 20 minutes of detective work. As I said, we get many such requests each day, and answering them is less than 25% of my job. I have what's his other 75%? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing at the Department of Paleobiology? That's so important. If you have a handful of requests, less than 5, that you think are more credible than others, I would be happy to field them over the next several months. Does that sound reasonable? I should also mention that if you are inquiring about animals that were presumed to be alive or recently living, those requests need to go to the Department of Zoology, blah, blah, blah. That's actually not what the response was, my bad. That's what he responded to after I responded to him. About the, I responded, here, I'll show you what he actually responded. My bad. I've been forwarded your other emails from blah, blah, blah. Please direct your future emails to this address only. I will return your emails, but we do not, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for pointing out the actual location in Utah. You highlighted only a portion of the article, so that is the only part I read. Yeah, that's my bad. I should have known that. I searched our database for fossils from that part of Utah. We do not have any specimens from there that are not invertebrate fossils. I will say that given the geology of the area, it is possible that fossil vertebrates could have been found in the cave mine/mine. Obviously, they would have been dinosaurs or some other ancient reptile, since dragons do not and have not ever existed. How does he know that? So basically saying maybe. Unfortunately, I can't say whether or not Mr. Hardy, the guy who actually wrote about, said he found the dragon fossils, actually found fossils or not. Smithsonian paleontologists were working in the Dinosaur National Monument area of Utah around the 1890s, so it is possible that someone came out to look at that cave, but we don't have any record of it if they did. I am sorry, but I think that this is the best we can do. Unfortunately, many of these kinds of inquiries lead to dead ends. Such information from the past has been lost. Sure. Uh, but my response to that, which I should have read, was Dear blah, 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 apologies for the confusion about Omaha Salina Canyon. But I was like, I have thousands of inquiries I'd like to ask your department about. I've come across a few hundred articles about 10 to 30-foot tall humans from a few dozen states, countries, and newspapers. I've come across hundreds of articles of animals of abnormal size, like a 50-foot tall horse skeleton that I found, that the archivist found in one of his articles. It was in California. Armadillo skeleton 7 feet tall, and a bunch more. And most of the articles that the archivist lists are from the 1800s. And what I'm going to do, because the archivist is not a, sorry about this. The archivist is not from, he's not a computer programmer. He doesn't have like a programming background, but he's just kind of doing all this manually. And I'm fairly certain I could pull down every single state, old articles from like before 1905, where the word Smithsonian is used, or like Smithsonian and giant, Smithsonian and some other term, dragon, Smithsonian and blah blah blah, like fairly easily. If he's pulling all these articles from like a central site, this could be done web scrape fairly easily. Within like, instead of like taking weeks, it would take like an hour or a couple hours, not even. Once I figure out how their uh, API works, or how their URL works, whatever. That's why I said that I have thousands of articles of this, because I guarantee you I can pull out thousands of articles. But I know that the archivist is not I'm pretty sure he's not a computer programmer, so he wouldn't know about this, that you could do this. Uh, but yeah, he calls the 50-foot tall horse thing preposterous. I don't think it is, actually. I think we were giant back in the day. And he's saying that like answering these questions are only 25% of his job. I would like to know what his other 75% of his job is, but I don't want to be rude and get like on the bad side of the guy, since he's even looking at this stuff for him. Uh, but yeah, then I respond, I agree with him. And at first I thought he was trying to say that like hunters, ranchers, and miners are like fraudsters. That most of them were like fraudsters, which I 100% disagree with. Because hunter, ranchers, and miners, like part of their job is being like honest men. You know what I mean? But then he makes a good point though, that like his next letter after this is he wasn't trying to say that they're fraudsters, but that they'd like to exaggerate a little bit. And if you really think about it, hunters, ranchers, and miners do kind of exaggerate. Like think about like a campfire, around the campfire, and everyone's telling stories or something. A hunter would be more. He's not necessarily lying, but these are professions where people would exaggerate a little bit. But I still think he's wrong about most of this shit. Um, he says, "What can I assure you is that we do not have any cryptids, gargantuan animals, blah blah blah." He uses animals. I don't know if he means. I asked him, "Do you mean when you say gargantuan animals? Do you mean gargantuan men, or just animals, like the armadillo or the horse?" And because one of the most prevalent articles about this kind of stuff that the archivist's been pulling up, and the stuff I found, is all giants, human giants. And he says each one would require 15, 20 minutes detective work. And if you had a handful of requests, like 5, the most credible, and I told him that I would send him a complete list, comprehensive list of every single article, just to give him the sheer amount of these articles, because I think there's thousands upon thousands, and I'm gonna web scrape them all and send it to this dude. But then I'll pick the 5 most compelling or whatever. Um, and he apparently, I asked him if petrified animals and humans is at a different department than his department, which is the Department of Paleobiology. And he's like, nah, it's the same department. And now he's all buddy buddy with me in this article. Please call me Matthew. Shit, I don't know the fucking next. But yeah, now we're buddies now. But he's like, he gives a good point about the hunters and the miners and what's the other one? Uh, Ranchers. But yeah, they do. They actually do. They are pretty tell exaggerated stories. I can see that. 100% can see that. But I still disagree with this whole overall take. I look forward to seeing your articles. He says it's kind of fun for him, but what is he doing with this the rest of his time? What could you possibly be doing with the Department of Paleobiology? Like he got the bones. What like once they're like in their little Indiana Jones box, what else do you do with them? And then I wanted to respond to him because right here he uses this term again. He uses this word ken. Often it is people seeing things beyond their ken, beyond their knowledge or experience. I've never heard anyone in my entire life use the word ken like that, ever. Beyond their ken. But this random dude from the Smithsonian brings it up twice in our little conversation. Twice. And guess what? Ken, this is the second part of what I'm talking about. Third part. One's range or knowledge of sight. Ken. And in Hunter x Hunter, sure enough, there's something called Ken. And it's like an advanced form of aurora control, basically. Very interesting that he would use that word. I even asked him about it in my next question because I was like, I don't have the list yet, but I want to know what you meant by beyond their ken. And now I used only his first name now because we're boys now. But yeah, that's where I'm at with the Smithsonian. They actually did get back to me, and the guy like he gives a pretty. He kind of says like, yeah, there might have been something there, but I mean, he says, oh, it's definitely not a dragon, but I mean, I'm sure he's got to say that, I guess. I don't know. But he does say that there might have been something there, which is more than I thought they would ever say to me. But anyway, that's that part of what I want to talk about. And then the next thing is, let's see, burial mounds. A couple weeks ago, I was looking up for something to watch. I was kind of bored, so I started looking up like old '90s anime, like movies and stuff. And so that it's not like a kids anime, I would type in horror anime from the '90s. Top 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 horror anime from the '90s, and this is one of them that popped up. And it had a weird cover, creepy cover, and I liked the trailer for it, so I checked it out. It's called Doom Megalopolis. Megalopolis. And it's about the early 1900s, late 1800s, like everything I've been talking about, like with the bones, uh, where this German dude, or this German spirit, German demon, this dude, he doesn't actually look like that. He doesn't look like a demon like that. He looks like a normal dude, but he's wearing like a German outfit, or like maybe like a Russian outfit, Red Army outfit. Um, where's the guy? They don't actually show him. Damn it, they didn't show him. And it was done by the same exact studio that did Hunter x Hunter, Madhouse. It's one of their earlier uh, anime, and it's called Doomed Megalopolis. And it's about this demon from Germany or Russia, maybe Red Army, Russia, that comes to Japan and starts seeking out all of the burial mounds to turn the check, check, to turn the burial mound into a like to raise the spirits of the burial mound, saying that it's like a the spirits of the burial mound were trapped there by their own people, and that they have a built-up rage and they need to be released. And this dude was trying to release them throughout all of Japan. If you see what was happening with Japan during like the late 1800s, early 1900s, is Japan was kind of going towards like a Western culture instead of sticking to their own culture. You know what I mean? So it kind of would have been like a natural order of things. Like this dude is like a demon, the bad guy is. He's obviously a demon, or like controlled by a demon or something. And but I think he's evil, but he's not big picture evil. Like the culture of that area is supposed to wake up at some point. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that's the same with all burial mounds. They're all supposed to wake up at some point. With all those bodies there, all that spirit there, and that's why they like the army usually gets called in with these mounds, and it all gets like wiped, all gets like censored kind of. But that's basically what this manga is talking about. I talked about with Eric Peterson that I have a theory about Japan being where the good, quote unquote, good CIA has been pushing out material for human consciousness to like elevate human consciousness for the future. And it's also where Bitcoin was created, right? And the name of the guy who invented Bitcoin is Satoshi Nakamoto, which means central origin or central intelligence or something like that. And no one can find Satoshi Nakamoto in Japan, or there's only like fake people about him. So obviously it was the Central Intelligence Agency. And like why would they name this Japanese anime Doomed Megalopolis? Why not name it? Why not have the cover story have a Japanese kanji on the front? You know what I mean? Like why is it English? That doesn't make sense to me. I think there's a and Madhouse is they're the guys that made Hunter X Hunter, the anime of Hunter X Hunter, and this was like one of their first things in the 90s. I think there's a background force helping these guys out or something like that. Maybe like a Freemason force or something that is connected to the CIA somehow. I don't know. This is all conjecture. It's really speculative. But that's what I was at with the burial mounds. And I've heard like Christopher Gardner's guest was talking about burial mounds as well. So it's kind of like seems to be on the uh, the front line of human consciousness right now. And one of the things I was actually thinking about with the dragon boom thing would be taking it to ley lines, to burial mound locations. But then I started thinking like, okay, dragons, reptilians, like maybe that's not the right thing to do. I don't know though. Maybe because it's a bone of it, it's actually like signifying the reptilian dragon force is dead now. It's time to come back to like a magical time. I don't know. I gotta really think about it. But yeah. All right, Pi. What's up, Pi? The Smithsonian came to the sandhills in Nebraska in the 1920s and ended their exploration due to the difficulty of traveling by horse. It's it is not difficult at all. To this day, ranchers find fossils and send them to the university only to be told that they no, only to be told they have been lost. Many private collections of fossils in ranch Right. Yeah, I can see that definitely. It's probably in some. There are very large mounds in Iowa that are supposed to be Indian burial grounds, but there's one formation that looks serpentine and can only be seen from the air. Interesting. Like that stickman guy that I talked about last stream. Someone told him that there's an Indian burial ground underneath his house, and that's why he does the stick formations, the stick runic formations. There's something to it. I don't know. And yeah, I can see them losing all kinds of shit, which shouldn't happen. Like they're the organization supposed to archive all this shit. That should never happen. I'd be like GitHub losing your code in people don't know what that is. It'd be like the IRS losing your data, your tax data. Like that's never gonna happen ever. The IRS will never lose your tax data, right? Like there's never a mistake like that. Like NASA losing the moon data, whatever. I don't want to get streams shut down, but yeah, they just lost it, right? They act like college students or like high school students. Like I used to get away with like not handing in my paper by simply saying like, oh no, I sent it to the right address, the right email, and I would show them a screenshot that I photoshopped, but with like the time stamp changed, and they would be like, okay, we'll let it go, and then I would turn it in the next day, even though I really didn't turn it in. Like it's that easy. They just didn't realize that you could Photoshop a screenshot that easily. Feel like that's what they're doing. That's what they do with all this shit, like the Smithsonian and the NASA and all of them. That's why I mentioned IRS. The IRS will never pull that shit because they want your money, right? They'll just say, "Oh yeah, we lost it." Bullshit, you fucking lost it. That's such a lie. But you can't like, how do you argue that? You know what I mean? It's like they're children trying to get around like their high school teacher, thinking everyone's like the people are so dumb that they'll believe it. Like the teacher is so dumb that she'll believe it or he'll believe it. That's what it feels like whenever I deal with these people. Although I like this guy, the Smithsonian guy, even though he seems a little deluded. Um, like everyone in the Smithsonian that I talked to all seemed cool. They weren't like nefarious, other than him like saying that dragons never existed and nor do they exist. Like how does he know that? But other than that, the guy seems all right. I mean, not everyone's a truther. You know what I mean? All right. The next thing I want to talk about is second round of Doctor Doom. But the reason why I say I got to shut down the stream because of Doctor Doom is because he's kind of childish, I guess. But this is something different, kind of. Excuse me. Excuse me. This is about a few things that I think relate to Doctor Doom in real life. Okay, you got Wakanda, which is like the rival country, that's like rival sovereign country of Doctor Doom's country, which is called Latveria, and it's located here, which kind of looks like it's supposed to be in Africa, but this kind of looks like it's on the this is the Mediterranean here, and this is like east of I don't know, Italy, Greece. This would be like Sicily, I guess, down here, like in the Baltics, basically. That's what that map kind of looks like, right? Well, here's then you got Wallachia, which is the land of Vlad the Impaler. Before it's not actually a country anymore, but that was the country that he ruled, and it was right here on Europe, right? Kind of similar to Wakanda, and it sounds similar. Wallachia, Wakanda sounds similar, right? And then you got Doctor Doom's country, which is Latveria, which is right around this, somewhat more around Serbia, Hungary, Romania, Croatia, which is Romania is where Wallachia was located. That's where Doctor Doom's sovereign country is. I mean, it's clearly named after Latvia, though, right? And Latvia is nowhere near any of that. So I don't know, but I think there's some kind of connection between those four countries. The the two fictional countries and the two um, real life countries. But one is actually extinct now, Wallachia. And the reason why I mention this is because Doctor Doom and the Man in the Iron Mask are oddly super similar. Check this out. Here's Doctor Doom. Here's the Man in the Iron Mask. And if you ever like read about the Man in the Iron Mask, there's all kinds of occult shit going on with that. Like there's definitely some hidden message being said about the Man in the Iron Mask. And Doctor Doom is like he wears an iron mask, basically. It looks like exactly like the Man in Iron Mask, in the Iron Mask. And another thing about the Man in the Iron Mask, he supposedly is related to the Three Musketeers. And but the three Musketeers, it's actually four Musketeers. I've never read the books, but every movie there's actually four Musketeers, not three, not three, four, and they never use a musket. If you think about it, they never use a musket. They're always using like a sword. So it should be like the four fencers. So what? There's some underlying message going on between the Man in Iron Mask, the four fencers, aka the Three Musketeers, and Doctor Doom. Somehow it's all interconnected. And I also think Vlad the Impaler is connected to Wallachia because Vlad the Impaler apparently he was captured by the Turkish Islam, Turkish Muslims, I guess, Ottomans, and like he wasn't really captured. It was more like if you ever seen Game of Thrones, like Theon, the character Theon, how he is like with the Starks, even though he's not a Stark, but he's treated like a prince still. But he's not actually a Winterfell prince. He's a where's he from? He's from like the Kraken Islands or something like that. Like his flag was the Kraken, but it was from the Iron Islands. He's from the Iron Islands. He's royalty from the Iron Islands that was captured by I don't know for some reason the Starks were raising him as like a kind of like a blackmail type deal, not blackmail but like assurance type deal, so that they would never bother Winterfell because they have their prince. If they f with them, they'll just kill their prince, right? That that's what happened with Vlad the Impaler by the Ottomans. So he was trained by that his entire life. And then when he came back, the church tried to they needed to take over his land so that they could enter into Eastern like the Eastern Roman Empire to help them. And I don't know, all this could be bullshit, but they needed to take his land, and he wouldn't let them take his land, or like he wouldn't swear fealty to the church, to either church. And they tried to like send in. Apparently, they tried to send in like 30,000 merchants to take over uh, Wallachia, like low key take it over. Like they painted it as like a good thing that they were giving them, and like within like a week or something, all 30,000 of those merchants were impaled and put on the border of Wallachia. Like, I ain't falling for your shit. Like they kind of, I don't know, I can't say the word, but anyway, so he was impossible to like. He was trying to keep a sovereign country, and it's right in the area where Doctor Doom's country supposedly is, and it's named after Black Panther's sovereign country supposedly is, and it's about a brutal dictator. But Vlad the Impaler, the thing about him is he was apparently super respected by his people, and Doctor Doom is actually really respected by his people. They love him because he keeps them all safe because he's the sovereign. And Vlad the Impaler would have been like that, right? Apparently, they put like a gold chalice on the center of like the market square or something, and he said he put it there because he wanted to see if the people still liked him, still agreed with his policies, and no one ever touched it ever because everyone respected him. They're like, you know what I mean? Like they feared and loved him enough that they wouldn't even try fucking with it. And that kind of reminds me of Doctor Doom, right? And then the Man in the Iron Mask. Some people say that the Man in the Iron Mask was really uh, the guy running the behind the scenes of Napoleon. Some people say it was Louis XIV, like twin brother. All kinds of weird stuff about it. Some people say it was Doctor Doom, but yeah, there's something to it. And Doctor Doom. Sorry about the noise of this because I don't want to get a copyright, but Doctor Doom piece of shit. All day. Hopefully I don't get copyright for showing this. I just find this fun. But I find the scene later, obviously, funny as shit. Man, the Iron Mask. They all show up. Wow.
Dude, you can't win this. I'm going to give you one chance here. Surrender.
Surrender.
Doom does not surrender.
Take it.
Sit down. I'll use your headbutt. Sit down. Get out of my way. I don't know about you, but Avengers kind of seem like the government to me in this scene.
Somebody blast him!
Like a SWAT team or something, right?
You are trespassing on Latvian soil.
You're trespassing here. Get the hell out.
Now.
How about this instead? We kick your shiny metal butt!
No.
I love this part. Little B girl's like, "Hello, we beat you up," and Black Panther's like, "Nah, girl, you ain't it. Take a seat. We gotta get out of here before he kills us all." Like he figured it out immediately. Nah, we can't fuck with this dude. 'Cause he's actually sovereign, and they're not. They all answer to something. Anyway, I'll stop being a geek. I don't know why this is here. Alright, let's see what the next topic was. Oh yeah. There's like a little drama going on between Benjamin Balderson and Dylan Sakiera. I don't know how to say his last name. About the Phoenicians. And at first I like from what I've seen of Dylan from Christopher Gardner's streams. Here it is. This is part 2. I haven't watched it yet, but part 1 he talks about it a lot. He gets into like how the Phoenicians started all the astrological charts, the ship navigation, whatnot, and a lot of it's not just him. A lot of researchers end up doing this, where they say like they taught the world how to like navigate the seas. And Benjamin Balderson puts on a great point when he like did his little he did a video like that was like a retort to Dylan, and I 100% agree with Ben. It was an awesome point. It's like he explains it like if you have a piece of bread and you get put it under certain conditions, mold will appear all around the bread in equal portions. Like it's not just like one area and then it slowly moves around the whole bread, right? It's everywhere. And only when certain conditions are met does the mold happen, like wet and damp or something like that. If you put a piece of bread in the refrigerator, it'd take way longer, right? For mold to show up. Not that humans are mold, but you get what I mean. Um, he's like the same thing happened with humanity. This area of living came like the conditions finally met, like the weather conditions, all the tropical conditions, all that stuff. They finally met at a certain point where humans started popping up everywhere. And the reason he's like the reason why all the symbols are the same, like the goofy mustache man symbol, the which is the same symbol used by the Indians, the dot-headed Indians, the feather-headed Indians, the Japanese, the all kinds of countries use the same symbol. That same symbol. And it's the Big Dipper going around each season, and it's also how electricity works. But I'll get into that next stream. It's the four quadrant representation of electricity by Eric Dalit. That has all. I gotta read the rest of it, but I didn't realize that like how in depth and how good that book is until I recently got it. But anyway, like all these different symbols that are closely related. It doesn't mean that another race or another culture started the symbols. It just means that they're all looking at the same thing. They're all looking at nature a certain way. You know what I mean? And that was like next level than when Benjamin Wallerson mentioned that, because that's so freaking true. Like someone, it doesn't matter if you were like the first to come up with a circle. You know what I mean? Like everyone sees a circle. It's just a natural thing. You will see circles in nature, right? It's not like they taught them how to how to like write the circle. And I 100% agree with Benjamin Wilson about that. Not that the research Dylan did is bad or anything. It's still good research, but I just don't think anyone brought language to another race or another culture, another area. They all had their own. They didn't need anyone else's like culture or anything. And everyone can see the stars. It's not like you need trigonometry to understand the stars. Uh, I don't know. That was my take from Benjamin. It was awesome, awesome stream. Even though he gets a little bit aggressive about it, but whatever. Um, I was all like that's the first time I ever heard it like that, and that actually makes a lot more sense than how people have been putting it for me. That I've learned like from before that. Chat says, "Oh yeah, Fantastic Four, Four Musketeers. There you go. That is weird though, right? Like none of them use muskets either. They all use swords. There's something going on there. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what it is or like how, but there's something going on there. Uh, yeah, maybe they're kind of like signaling that Doom was the one running France from behind the scenes, or like the man in the Iron Mask was the one running France from behind the scenes. Who knows? I don't know. It definitely feels like there's some kind of connection. Let's see, last one. Last thing will be these Gideons. I keep seeing this on all these Bibles. Let me see if you can actually see this. You see this? Do you see this right here? Yeah, there it is. All right, you can see it. But I keep seeing it on every Bible and every hotel I get to. So I'm looking up the Gideons, and I don't know. The whole thing's kind of weird. I don't know why. I wanted to bring them up, but they got a urn, flaming urn, I guess, is a symbol. I gotta look more into them, but there's something up with that. I don't know what it is yet. And the last thing I actually wanted to do was just do a random flip of the Bible and see what pops up, like Terry Davis style. Let's see what happens. I get first of the Chronicles. Then David said, I'm pointing at the part that I opened to. It's verse 2 of chapter 15. Then David said, none ought to carry the ark of God but the Levites. For them hath the Lord chosen to carry the ark of God and to minister unto him forever. And David gathered all Israel together to Jerusalem to bring up the ark of the Lord unto his place which he had prepared for it. And David assembled the children of Aaron and the Levites, of the sons of Kohath, Uriel the chief, and his brethren, and 120. Of the sons of Merari, Asaiah the chief, and his brethren 220. Of the sons of Gershon, Joel the chief, and brethren and 130. Sons of Elizaphan, Shema, Aiah the chief, and his brethren 200. Of the sons of Hebron, Eliel the chief, and his brethren fourscore. Of the sons of Uzi, El, Ammon, Adab the chief, and his brethren, and 112. And David called for Zadok and Abiathar the priest, for the Levites, for Uri, El, Asaiah, Joel, Shemiah, Eliel, and Alamin Adab. He said unto them, Ye are the chief of the fathers of the Levites. Sanctify yourselves, both ye and your brethren, that ye may bring up the ark of the Lord God of Israel unto the place that I have prepared for it. Whatever the fuck that means. But anyway, I got a lot of those little hints from that. Uriel, that is a demon in the video game Diablo 2. Uriel. Uh, where's the other thing? Oh yeah, Uziel. What's the Uzi named after? The gun, the shooter. Gun's not a good word for this. For streaming that popped up for me. Um, Ye, they keep saying ye, like Kanye West. Ye. Uh, there's one big one though. Where's that? Choosing to carry out the ark of God and to minister unto him forever. David said, no, Levites. Who are the Levites? Levites. Levi jeans? I don't know. Maybe this was a bad idea. Maybe it means something to someone who's watching the stream. I don't know. Didn't mean shit to me though, really. It just sounds really boring. Maybe I shouldn't do this next stream. It's a little too boring. Uh, yeah, I'll leave it at that. 1 Chronicles. I don't know. Maybe that means something to someone. Who knows? Uh, but yeah, that's about all I wanted to get into this stream. If anyone has anything else to say, we can get into that. Yeah, it does say Uriel. Maybe I'm thinking Andrea. Andriel? Who's the second? Who's the second boss of Diablo 2? The big like green blob looking dude. It's Uriel, isn't it? Let's look it up. Oh, Doriel. Shit. But I mean, it's pretty close. Oops. The stream is back up. Yeah, the Fantastic Four. That's a great point. Forgot about that. Levy, Evil, Liv. There's a good one. First part of my last name is Liv. Uh, Uzi. That's an odd name, right? If you think about it. Uzi. For especially for a shooter. I don't want to say the real word because it's stream. That's a weird word. Uh, Yee. My skills. That's a weird name, brother. How you doing? Um, no one else. I mean, if you got nothing else, I'll give you like 30 seconds. Ask a question, get into a new topic before I shut it down. Mm, Diablo 2 has a bunch of crazy, like, religious stuff in it. First character's named Andriel. And it was spelled, that says, who's he? Uzi. It was spelled Uzzi, like a Uzi shooter, the weapon. Doesn't that sound oddly familiar? Or it could even be Uzi, like Banjo Kazooie. Is that? Yeah, kind of like that. But I think we're kind of getting into the woods now. Uh, any other topics you want to talk about? 30 seconds. Pi, what do you want to talk about? Killian Ford? Interesting. Killian Ford. I haven't found anything about Killy being related to Ford, but I can see that happening. Definitely. Uh, Killy was related to something that archivist guy says is one of like the underlying themes of all these old articles is that a group calling themselves the Syndicate or the German Syndicate will pop up. And I read about this in one of Dale Pond's books on John Worrell Kearley. the the uh, the group of millionaires that appeared to Kearley was called the Syndicate. The dual octahedron. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I want to try that badly. Here, I can get into that. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Them being connected somehow. I think Ford could have been in the syndicate somewhat. Um, but I want to get into dual octahedron. That's a good one. First magnet man. Check this out. Not that. Not that. Where's my guy at? He's got a name like Super Magnet Man. Super Magnet Man.
Magnets have been a real fascination. There's some people who think that the geometric
Actually, let me pull that. What did you just say about the geometric shape?
think that the geometric shape of a pyramid has some mystical powers to it. And I'm not sure if that's true, but I do know what they can do with magnet.
I had to turn it off because it sounds weird apparently. People put the captions on. He explains that like the top part of the magnet, like the Gaussian level of it, is like way higher than normal. But that's only one half of the dual octahedron, right? What if you had another pyramid at the bottom? What would it look like then? What would the magnetic field look like then? I think it would look like the toroid. Actually, I don't know. Because they say a toroid is like two pyramids pointed at each other in the middle, not like a diamond. The opposite of a diamond, kind of. Super Magnet Man. But he never goes into like a dual octahedron or a diamond shaped magnet. But if you look at this psycho, uh, this dude actually goes into this octahedral thing. Even though he's a little out there. He's a lot out there. But like like I said before, say what you want about the guy's thinking that he's the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. He's got a great model for the earth. Where's he at here? One of his recent videos was actually about this. Where the hell is it? Damn it. I thought it was one of his recent videos. I guess not. Here. He kind of explains it here. He thinks the realm's going to end when the sun's going to stop, uh, and the whole Earth is going to burn up, except for Australia, because the moon's going to stop and cast a shadow on Australia. I think he's completely wrong about that. He's never given a date for it or anything. But everything else he says, I'm open to. Definitely, he provides some great evidence. See, he's got the octahedral in the middle. It's basically um, three spheres, metallic spheres almost, and in the middle is a octahedral or diamond shape. And if it was a magnet, how would that interact with a metallic sphere around it? Like I've never seen that done, so I don't know how it would react. But and then you put another sphere around that and fill that other sphere with water, and then a last sphere around all of them. And how's that magnetic field interacting with that? I don't know. Maybe it makes it spin. Who knows? Maybe the water's there to make sure that it stays cool as it's spinning. The water's above. He claims that the space is a glass sphere inside of the Earth. The Earth is a sphere, but it's concave. Not it's not. We don't live on the outside the sphere. We live on the inside of the sphere, like a cell kind of. And listen, it sounds nuts, right? But there's guys like Cyrus. He wrote this book called what the hell's that? Annoying. It's called like the cellular cosmogony. The Earth is a concave sphere with proof by Cyrus Reed Teague. And his nickname, he started this cult called Koreshians, and he was called Koresh, not to be confused with the guy who started the cult at Waco, Texas, and was killed. He His name was also Koresh, but this was the first Koresh. And his book, I mean, the way he proves it is pretty concrete. I don't know how you could dispute it. Uh, and then if you look at all the people that have been 100 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, they all say, not above, I mean at 100 kilometers, they all say that the Earth looked like a flat disc that was curved up curved upwards at the outline, like the end of it, the end of the disc. So concave kind of, right? And it kind of makes, you know how they're always like saying like they have to like tell the truth, but not. They have to use like legalese almost, where they tell the truth, but they don't actually. But it sounds completely wrong. But like they use certain words that make it so that they're not technically lying. Well, a globe would. What does the word globe mean, right? It it doesn't necessarily mean that we live on the outside of the sphere, right? It could mean that it's a hollow sphere, because I think a globe means that it's like it's a non-hollow sphere. I think that's what it means. But or like a sphere with a core into it. I don't know. I forget. But globe doesn't mean what people think it means. I think. Buckminster Fuller jitterbug is a flexible cube octahedron, considered the most stable polyhedral form. I wouldn't doubt it being the most stable. Geometry, frequency, and polyhedral representation. Diameter cube. Oh, the cube octahedron. What do you mean by that? Cube? There's a cube octahedron? Isn't it octahedron? Let's look it up. Octahedron. Oh, you meant like, gotcha. Yeah, this, right? It's like a diamond almost. But if they were both magnets, like a north south, what's going on with that? Because a pyramidal magnet, the topmost part is like orders of magnitude stronger than the lower parts. That's what I was trying to say. Like if they use pyramidal magnets to erase hard drives because the only at that point is it really strong, like way stronger than normal, like multiple Teslas, which no like even like a 50 couple I'm pretty sure like even like regular 50 Gauss neodymium magnets can't reach that level. It's like orders of magnitude higher than that. Only at the point though. But if you had 2 points, like a diamond, like the octahedral, there's something going on there. I don't know. I gotta look into these guys. But I don't know. I think I don't know where we are. I think we're in it, but it's not. I don't think it's. It's hard. It's hard to like conceptualize. We could be inside like a tree. I mean, the Norse say we're in a tree, right? But we're on the inside of the tree. It could be like a cell, but then I've heard that cells don't really even exist as we've been told, according to Dr. Tom Callan, which I kind of agree with, because I don't think atoms are as we've been told. And it's an interesting word using the word atom. Yeah, atom sphere. Atom as an ADAM. I think that's why they used the word. It's another one of those like legalese words, kind of like globe, to get around outright lying. Belly of the beast, yeah, great. That's a good point. Great point. That would be a good experiment. It would be a good experiment. I agree. Orphic egg, but flexible. I've been considering the Earth as a cube octahedron. Do you mean octahedron or octahedron? But flexible, turning inside an Orphic egg with the sun in a fixed position. Can fold down into a tetrahedron. They are in some sense the same thing in different states. I've seen something on TikTok. I don't know if I saved it, but this guy has like this. It's like those old kids' toys that were like that would open up from like really small balls, like spiky balls, and then open up to like a ball. But he had something different like that. But he was changing the form of the thing like 20 times. He changes the form. He makes like a certain shape, and then another shape, then another shape, then another shape, then another shape, then another shape. Like he does it like 20, 25 times on TikTok. It was like a metallic version of that old toy, but like it actually he would twist it too. Cyrus. Cyrus. I don't know what you mean by that. The same in different states. Yeah, I think it's all the same kind of in different states basically. Like I kind of made a video about it. I don't have my code downloaded. It's a new laptop, so I would have to pull down my code from GitHub to be able to run the code for it. But I have an old video of it I could show you on my YouTube. I've been kind of contemplating about. It's not exactly correct, I don't think. Where's it at? Where are we at? Here we go. These are all the base pattern, like you know that vortex mathematics. That's how vortex mathematics works, right? Well, if you, I thought that's only base 10 patterns. I wonder if there's patterns for every other base, like base 16, like hexadecimal, or base 8, octadecimal. Is it called that? Yeah, octadecimal. Yeah, or because Marco Rodin's stuff, the vortex mathematics is base 10 patterns, and turns out there's patterns for every single base number system, every single one. And I think this kind of matches what Keeley was doing, but Keeley he makes the first, which I agree with. He makes the first point, the middle of the circle, the middle of the object, which I did. I don't know the math to do that. My first is on like the top or whatever, but it makes these patterns. Every single from this is from 2 to 99. They all make a pattern, and the different colors are the different sequences of patterns. And I think that how so-called atoms might work. I don't know, but it would be more like a cymatic thing. This is not exact or anything. It's just based on the vortex mathematics. I think it's more cymatics based. But it probably looks like this or close to this. I don't have my code to actually show you like different ones, but yeah, where you guys at? Yeah, keys, the black keys. What's up, Nick? Are you Nico or are you the other dude from the chat? That chat, Nikola Tesla 666. Plastic rod model. You can demonstrate the folding into different forms. Yes, if you haven't flexible plastic rod model. Yeah, I gotta find that video. I'll try to show it next stream because it was pretty fast. Yeah, okay, unique, your Nick. Kind of talked about your neck of the woods a little bit, even though I'm probably not spot on about it. Sorry, sometimes I find names to be very revealing. Like Killy Keys. Yeah, yeah, I agree. And his name is John Whirl Keeley. World Key. I don't know. I think Kairos is related to Chi Ether. Kairos. Possible. Keeley may be hinting at Greek keys, the black keys. I don't know. Um, yeah, well, Keeley actually was like going into like how if you think about equilibrium, there shouldn't be any movement of anything if we're in actual equilibrium, right? Because that means we're in harmony. There should be no movement. Everything should be frozen, almost. It's the disharmony that allows us to move, the asymmetry that allows us to move, not the harmony. The harmony more governs like where we're going to move, maybe. I don't know. That's what it seems like he's talking about. But he gets a lot more into music stuff. I would actually be really interested to see what you think of his music aspects of it. I could say, I could try to find the book for you because apparently I thought the book wasn't that hard to get, but apparently it's like $500 on Amazon now. I didn't get it for that much. It was only like I remember it only being like $50. I don't know. Apparently it's like $500 now, but I'll look into it. Kind of. It's kind of like that. Like Eric Lathwaite points out, it just looks like a. He basically says that it kind of just looks like a wave, but it's not actually a wave. It's just different points moving up or down at a certain point at a certain time, right? Oh, Gilly wrote a crap ton of music. Uh, look into Dale Pont. He has Dale Pont has a bunch of stuff online. I posted his lecture on my channel. It's called the Sympathetic Vibrational Physics of John Worrell Keeley by Dale Pont. It's like a 3 hour lecture, but it's probably the best 3 hours in the entire freaking movie, I think. That guy gets into some crazy stuff that like we're only now talking about. He was talking about it in 1994 or like the 90s. Yeah, he gets a lot into the music stuff. Keeley was really into like the music aspect of this. I have no idea about the music stuff. That's why I'm interested and see what you think. Uh, yeah, like with the with the concave Earth guy. This is what it ends up like turning into. Keeley made this thing called Dinosphere, uh, musical dinospheres, where this ball, this sphere with like two or more spheres inside of it, suspended inside of it, would spin when the frequency of the room got to a certain level, and it could measure like etheric frequency. So if the vibes of the room were high, like people were happy or like really high vibration, the thing would start spinning. But it would stop as soon as like the vibrations got low. And the way he collected the like the energy was like with a snail looking microphone. And like I don't know. He used he used the golden ratio to like collect the signal better than like any other signal receiver, I guess. I don't know. I don't know much about music stuff. That's my weakness right now. So maybe it wasn't sphere and sphere. That doesn't look like a sphere and sphere. Something like that though. Musical dinosaur. Dale Pond. That's the guy. I feel like he's been waiting for people to start contacting because he knew this shit in the '90s. Now we're all just starting to like get into it, right? I called him one time and he's the guy who figured out Killy yet. I called him one time on a random Saturday or something, and he answers and he's like, I was like, is this Dale Pond? He's like, yeah, it's Dale Pond. I was like, I got a few questions about Keeley, John Keeley, and your book, Understanding Keeley's Secrets, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I can answer, but I only got like 5 minutes. I'm in the grocery store. So like the next 5 minutes we talked, shot the shit. He seemed like an Eric Dollar type character. Like he was pretty disillusioned, which I kind of understand, considering he knew all this stuff in the '90s. He made it like that lecture is like the best 3 hour lecture on the entire internet, in my opinion. And I asked him the reason why I wanted to ask him is because he talks about in that lecture that John Keeley took apparently he could go up to a chalkboard with the dinosphere in the room and other people in the room and write a symbol on the chalkboard. And from the symbol, the people's mind force was elevated just by looking at the symbol, and it caused the sphere to spin. But I was like, okay, I wanted to ask him what the symbol was because I thought it was like a symbol thing. And he's like, no, it had nothing to do with the symbol. It was about the people's mind force, like their vibes. That's what made the thing spin. It wasn't the symbol. It's how we translated the symbol. We're the translators of the images. You know what I mean? Like I, I put this in one of my videos. Uh, Cipher talks to Neo. Since I watched this since the first time I watched this scene felt weird to me, and now I know why. I made a video about this on my channel, but it's a copyright stricken, so you might not see it. I don't know. But sorry about the sound if it sounds weird. Listen to what he says about the Matrix.
Whoa! Neo, you scared the bejesus out of me.
And the guy's name is Cypher.
Okay.
Is that
The Matrix? Yeah.
do you always look at it encoded?
Well, you have to. The image translators work for the construct program.
You hear that? The image translators work for the construct program. We're the image translators. That's like and just like Keeley, when he wrote the symbol, the people saw the symbol and it caused the mind force to increase and it caused the dinosphere to spin. So we're the image translators. It's our frequency, it's our vibes. And in one of my videos, I also talk about how I think my Path of Least Resistance video talk about the game Craps. I think the game Craps is entirely dependent on the vibration of the players. So you could probably clean up in Craps if you knew how to like harness that. Yeah, they can. All of them can. Yeah, yeah, that's true too. I agree. I I 100% agree about that. The intention put into crafting something personally is key. Like making a musical instrument versus factory made. I 100% agree with that. Because it's like an etheric thing almost. I don't know. That's why kind of why I'm kind of I get into Terry Davis, the computer programmer. It's because you can like feel his like energy in that program, that like operating system. Like you can feel like his soul in it. It's odd. I don't know. But yeah, that Matrix scene, he straight up says it, and I always wondered what that meant. Even when I was 10 years old when I first watched the Matrix, and I felt off about this scene because this scene is not really like doesn't really go along with the whole storyline, but it's purposely put in there. Are those images too? Yeah, definitely. All symbols are. I think that's why I think the I'm kind of getting over time, I guess, but I think the Greek symbols were memes. They're like memes. English is like it's more like an alphabet, I guess, where it's like a half meme, half, I don't know, made up. But the meme of the Greek symbols are related to nature, while like Hebrew symbols are not related to nature at all. Same with Babylon symbols and Sumerian symbols. English is kind of half and half. The Germanic tribe symbols are more related to nature, but then you get something completely different with the kanji of Japan and the what the hell is it called in Chinese? Sanji? No, not Sanji. It's something Anji. I forget the first letter of it for China. And if you look at their symbols, they're not quite hieroglyphics. They're like half meme, half like hieroglyphic. They're like half and half between those two, but they're still related to nature. I think their symbol system is actually the best one. I don't know, but I can't read any of the symbol systems, so I can't know for sure. Witches and witches by modifying other languages. I've heard that English is like the top three most magical language. It's like a mix between Greek and or like Latin and Germanic tribes. But I don't know though. Then we are always translating thought into etheric forms. Hmm. I don't know about thought though. Always translating thought. Hmm. Always. I don't know. I don't know. I guess maybe, but like, okay, if you close your hand and don't open your hand, but then you think, uh, start thinking of a hand opening and how you're going to open your hand, but don't actually open your hand. Like, keep thinking that open hand, open hand, open hand, open hand. Does your hand ever open? No, it doesn't. I think it's maybe it's more of like a we're always translating intent, which I think is what actually keeps the hand closed. It's our intent, not our thoughts. So maybe we're always translating intent, which comes before thought. Intent comes before thought. But I'm sure like thought can I don't know. I've heard alchemists say that this alchemist book say that thought is like the digestive. Your brain is like the digestive tract of your intent, where thought is like what it is as it's being digested in your brain, which I kind of agree with. I don't know. Conditions, perhaps. Focus thought. Yeah, I mean, there's something to it. I don't know. It's kind of like people think it was like black magic when that Mr. Beast dude, his name's Mr. Beast, so I can see how they would think it was black magic, where he said the name Jake Paul, I think it was Jake Paul, a million times on stream, and it took him like 2 days with no bathroom breaks, no eating, nothing. He said it a million times, and that if he said it a million times, he would meet Jake Paul. And guess what? He fucking met Jake Paul. I think that's not black magic. That's because that's what it would. It took him to 100%, 100% truly believe that Jake Paul would appear to him somehow if he did that. It was a belief thing. It was not a black magic, or you could call it black magic, whatever. But I don't think that's what it was. It just seems that way because the guy's name's Mr. Beast. Much better and more precise. Yeah, intent. I think it's an intent thing. But I also don't think intent is seeing the ether. I won't get into that. It's a whole nother topic. But anything else you guys want to talk about? I probably should. It's getting kind of long, the stream. So, unless you got anything else to say, next 20 seconds, 30 seconds, I'm gonna shut it down. The Chris dude did. Are you talking about the being a trainee? I think you're right, but I don't think that had to do with him like doing the Jake Paul thing. Oh yeah, I think so. So making food from scratch would have more beneficial properties. 1,000,000%, I think. All right, think about this. Think about your favorite restaurant and where they get their ingredients. I guarantee you, not guarantee, but I bet you they get their ingredients like specifically from a certain farmer that sells them those ingredients. And it's always fresh that way. And the chef probably even has uh, certain things that he asked the farmer to do to make it taste a certain way. And like, imagine like a farmer that grew for taste, not um, cosmetics. You know what I mean? Absolutely. What's his name? The famous um, chef. What's his name? He's always yelling at people. Gordon Ramsay. He tells one of his proteges. That's basically the secret. The fresher your stuff is, the better the food is. The more the more effort you put into it, the better the food will be. So if you take the time to find a specific farmer that grows a certain way, that uses certain techniques that I don't know, maybe the farmer uh, speaks to his seeds before he plants them and says a certain like phrase, like it can get that specific, and you add all that together. That's how you get the taste like that. I think like butter from the store compared to butter from the Amish. The Amish butter is better every single time. Raw milk versus milk from the store, raw milk's better every single time. right? It's definitely it definitely has big. That's a huge property of it. I think that's the same with like the wand making. Water vortexer with magnets to create structured rock. I don't know what I don't know about structured water. I don't know what the deal is with that. I'm uh I'm not sold on it completely yet. Yeah, like think about it like from the point of view of a dog. Do you think a dog is picking a raw steak or a steak from a cow that was perfectly raised in a perfect environment, happy every single day, uh, lived all of his days, and then died of like a, I don't know, freak accident? And then the beef was like, the steak was like harvested perfectly, then like marinated for like weeks in like certain glaze of salt that was that the like brine that this where the salt was like specifically picked out from some mountain. Like keep getting, you can get way into it. Like, and it stayed there for 3 weeks, and then all this stuff, and then it was cooked to perfection by like a master cook, and then that was put on the ground next to the raw regular raw slab of steak. Which steak the dog is picking? I'm saying that the dog picks the cooked steak 11 times out of 10, every single time. Yeah, exactly. I've never liked the crust, like the garlic you can get in like like little containers. I've never liked that garlic. It always smelled wrong and tasted wrong. Same with onions. I never liked onions that were already chopped up and in like a little container. It smelled off, and it never tasted the same. But if a raw onion or raw garlic that you cut up and then put it in, tastes so much. It doesn't taste so much better, but you can just tell. I don't know, different. I agree 100% about that. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay. I'm telling you, he talks about that actually. About how the fresher your stuff is, the better the taste will be. Or like the more effort put into your ingredients, the better the food will be. And he says it's the secret of the cooking world in one of his episodes. Because I kind of find it funny, so I watch his episode. But yeah, he knew about that. I'm probably gonna end it here. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here. It was a cool stream though. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.